Monday. Yes, I have not been on for a few days, so I am back, and the Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I am Jeff McAleer, and I apologize. Let me fix something over here up on the side because I ran down here to get the show started right away. But anyway, I'm Jeff McAleer. I'm your host here at the Daily Dope, as well as the Grand Poobah of thegaminggang.com. So welcome aboard. Happy Monday. Today is June 4th. This is the first episode of the Daily Dope for June. Hooray! So this is the 6th month now of the Daily Dope. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. I think this is episode, I want to say it's 111 of the Daily Dope. So as I kind of bounce around here to get everything set up, do apologize. All right, let me grab a sip here. That's actually what I was doing during the intro piece, was filling up a little diet soda here because I forgot to fill my cup, and then try to sneak that in as the little intro was going. So anyway, lots of news today. Very, very cool stuff cooking too. So quite a few things I'm very, very excited to take a peek at. And if you are a constant viewer of the Daily Dope, you may realize that there were no shows on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday of last week because I was babysitting. So, yeah, and I wasn't babysitting here. I was babysitting over at my brother and my sister-in-law's place, keeping an eye on my niece and nephew. So, no shows because pretty impossible for me to break down the duct tape studio and bring it on with me. So, anywho, but I'm going to make up for that. Also, strangely enough, yeah, actually, I've got my little Harley Quinn out here. It's kind of like, yeah, so I haven't had a show in a few days, so, hey, Puddin', miss me? So, anyway, today I'm doing something a little bit different. Because normally I'll be doing sneak peeks at games and I do reviews of various different games. Today I'm actually going to be reviewing the Flash Series gaming chair from eWin Racing. I happen to be sitting in it right now. I actually got it last week, and where was it? Was it the week before? I think it might have been the week before, right at the end of the week. So I have actually gotten to kick back in this chair to do some shows. So I am going to provide my review of the Flash series. So that's coming up in just a bit. But as I mentioned, there is loads of news out there. Do want to point out this is a live stream. I know a vast majority of people do not watch live, but there is chat available if you happen to be kicking back and giving today's show a watch live. So if you have a question, comment, or just want to say hello, feel free, chime in, because chat is available on YouTube. Hey, Drew Barbier right away chimes in and says, hey, Jeff. Hiya, Drew. Good to see Drew popping by. Drew is a fan of role-playing games, so I've got some role-playing game news that's pretty cool, So anyway, as I mentioned, chat is available, so feel free to chime in. But with that said, let's get on with the news. Because if you're a fan of HeroClix and you're a fan of Marvel, Drew's asking, saying, had a good weekend, how about you? I will actually talk about my weekend in just a bit. But anyway, I was going to say, if you're a fan of WizKids, HeroClix, and Marvel, then there's an upcoming release that you should be pretty excited about because they've got a couple of Avengers releases and a brand new game system, and I've got the dope. WizKids is thrilled to announce the brand new strategy game that puts players in the roles of some of their favorite Marvel Universe heroes and villains, Marvel Strike Teams. 2 to 5 players face off in a classic battle of good versus evil. Everyone gets a character with a HeroClix combat dial to track their level and build points. One player is the villainous mastermind, and the rest are the heroes trying to save the world. Marvel Strike Teams is a campaign game designed by Andrew Parks. The villain player controls the evil mastermind and is able to guide the direction of each encounter. Each of the hero players controls a single hero for the mission, and they must all work together by combining their vast array of powers and abilities to complete various objectives, such as infiltrating an enemy warehouse or saving hostages. Each hero is unique with individual playstyles, giving players multiple options to play the way that best suits them, or try something all new for a different experience. The environment also lends to the gameplay, putting obstacles in the way of players and granting them objects they can use as weapons. Wooden crate made block Captain America's path. Really? Couldn't he just kind of jump over that? But he can pick it up and hurl it at enemy Hydra soldiers. Players will quickly pick the roles that best suit their team and lead the heroes to victory. They hope. Besides standalone missions, there is also a campaign-based game in which the players can improve their heroes over the course of several missions. With randomly selected scenarios, multiple map tiles, and thousands of possible encounters, each mission will feel like a fresh experience. The game is for 2 to 5 players ages 14 and up, and each mission will take about 40 minutes to play. The core game is going to include 13 HeroClix figures, 99 cards, 30 map tiles, 150 tokens, 80 cubes, 2 command dials, and 1 custom action die. The MSRP is $59.99. But wait, there's more. The Avengers Initiative expansion will release alongside the core game. Avengers Initiative is the first expansion for Marvel Strike Teams, the tabletop strategy game that allows you to send a strike team of heroes to invade the base of a villainous mastermind in order to complete challenging scenarios. This expansion features some of Marvel's most powerful villains, including Loki, the Asgardian god of mischief, and Ultron, the would-be world conqueror. Standing against them are some of Earth's mightiest heroes, including Vision, Black Widow, and Falcon, accompanied by their ally from S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Phil Coulson. Very, very surprising that Phil Coulson is in this game. Because, okay, I gotta be honest, I have not read a lot of Marvel comics over the past few years, I guess since Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. came out. I wouldn't have expected him to be in it because this strikes me as being more comic related as opposed to the Marvel universe as far as movies and television. Anyway, however, the villainous masterminds are not without their own allies, including the Absorbing Man, sweet, and the unpredictable Agent Grant Ward. Don't know who that is. Track your stats from game to game to access your campaign using the HeroClix combat dial. Expand your Marvel Strike Team strategy game today, well, not today yet, with this action-packed edition and get to thwarting the ever-tricky Loki. The expansion adds 8 additional miniatures, 72 cards, and 19 tokens to the game. MSRP is $29.99. So I have to admit, there are conflicting reports of when this game is supposed to be available. I believe it is going to be September. I think that's what mainly I'm seeing is both Marvel Strike Teams as well as the expansion, the Avengers Initiative, will be out in September, but there are some rumblings it might be August. So this would be pretty interesting. I have to say my nephew Cameron got into HeroClix. He was probably about 11 or 12, and he was horrible at it. I mean, just terrible at it, simply because he didn't really pay attention to the abilities that each of the Marvel heroes or villains would have. Thankfully, now he's 16, and he understands how to play. And recently, I want to say within the last 6 months or so, he has broken out a lot of his hero cliques, and he's playing with some of his friends, some of the gang, which is made up of some of his high school friends. So I thought that was pretty cool. All right. So Academy Games has a new Kickstarter that just launched last week, end of last week, I want to say. And it does look pretty interesting. And I've got the dope on Tudor. Intrigue, treachery, power. In Tudor, or Tudor, you are a lord in the court of King Henry VIII. Here you will be positioning your courtiers among the influential lords who grant you actions that allow you to maneuver your family members to high title offices and gain their respective rings of prestige and power. Hey, like the Mandarin? Hey, we were just talking about, Marvel. The Mandarin, like his rings? Yeah, probably not. Players take turns placing their courtiers into the 3 audience chambers, each with unique actions. Then each player will place their one lord in a chamber of their choice. Only courtiers in an audience chamber with any player's lord present will be able to use that chamber's actions. But be careful, since there are only a limited number of seats available in each chamber and competing families can push you out of a chamber. Then all players, courtiers, in chambers with a lord take turns performing one of the 2 actions in their chambers. The powerful lords may also take both actions in the chamber they occupy. Chamber actions allow you to gain court cards and to move your courtiers in the throne room onto spaces with square court tokens that represent various faction interests and demands at the court. You collect these court tokens, which are one way to gain prestige. When you reach the top space of a court office in the royal court, you will gain that title, represented by a ring. Players' rings are placed and displayed on their individual player hand screens. That sounds kind of bizarre. Positioning your rings on different fingers project your interests, intent, and inclinations to other players, because different positions enhance specific actions that your courtiers take in the audience chambers. You must always be vigilant because another player can seize your court office, kicking your office holder out in disgrace, and then taking one of your rings. The player with the most prestige at the end of the game wins. Yes, so Academy Games does have a Kickstarter video for this project. It's a little over 2 minutes, just a smidgen over 2 minutes. So let's kick back and take a peek at Tudor.
Academy Games and Corex Games are excited to present a worker placement Euro game set in the court of King Henry VIII. In Tudor, position your nobles among influential lords in order to maneuver in King Henry's court and gain positions of power represented by rings. Up to 4 players compete in this dynamic game of political intrigue. Take turns placing your courtiers into the 3 audience chambers, each with unique actions. Then, place your lord in a chamber. Only courtiers in an audience chamber with a lord present will be able to use that chamber's actions. Take turns performing one of the 2 actions in a chamber by activating one of your courtiers. Actions can gain you court cards that you will use to move your courtiers in the throne room along spaces with square court tokens that match the played cards. Court tokens you gather will provide victory points and circular intrigue tokens that allow you to activate special abilities. When you reach the front of the court, you will gain an office of power represented by a ring. Each player has their own player screen where they hide their tokens and display their rings. Positioning the rings on different fingers activates upgrades that enhance the actions you take in the audience chambers. When another player takes your office of power, they also take one of your rings. In each game of Tudor, you will choose to play one of many scenario cards, each with their own special rules that can alter the game in dramatic ways. In addition, choose 2 different scoring cards to vary gameplay, creating a strategic experience with exceptional replayability. Join King Henry's court and help us unlock all of the exciting stretch goals. The Academy Games team thanks you for your support.
Well, I have to say the video makes the game look much more entertaining than me just rambling on about the various mechanics. Aha. Anyway, Tutor is for 2 to 4 players ages 12 and up and plays in around 90 to 120 minutes. This Kickstarter is just about 700% funded. At least it was about an hour ago when I took a peek. And you can reserve a copy of the game at a $60 pledge level through June 18th. I have to apologize because I did not jot down when the game is expected for delivery. So my apologies. I would take a guess probably next year. That is my guess. Although, by all means, check out the Kickstarter over at academygames.com. And it's also in conjunction with, I believe it was it Codex Games? Something along those lines. A company I am not familiar with. All right, so if you're interested in some family-friendly gaming, Jellybean Games has a title coming this August, and I've got the dope on ninjutsu! Why I oughta... Of course, wouldn't be all that, family-friendly if it was just me, whacking people using ninjutsu. Anyway, ninjutsu is a card game for 2 to 5 sneaky ninjas, suitable for players of all ages. A standalone sequel to the hit game Scuttle, this game of devious bluffing and subterfuge will keep the whole family entertained for hours. That's their words, not mine. In this fast-playing card game, players scheme to be the first to reach 21 points, like blackjack. Each turn, either play a card or draw 2 cards. Cards can either be played as treasure or as an action. Ninjutsu introduces hidden treasures, treasure cards that are played face down. Swipe hidden treasures from your opponents at any time, but watch out for booby traps. Ninjutsu is for ages 6 and up and takes about 10 minutes to play. MSRP is $14.95. Nice, pretty cool. I like the artwork, looks kind of fun. Unfortunately, this is the only image that I could track down for ninjutsu, so be sure to keep your eyes peeled over at jellybeangames.com to see if they pop out with some previews, or of course even Board Game Geek. But that will arrive in August. So one of the most anticipated RPGs of 2018 has arrived, at least in PDF, and I've got the dope on RuneQuest, role-playing in Glorantha from Chaosium Inc. Get started in RuneQuest with beautiful full-color PDF. Okay, I gotta be honest, I have noticed there's some grammatical errors in this press release. It's sort of like, guys, you should have kind of taken a peek at this. Because it gets started in RuneQuest with this, or a beautiful full-color PDF. RuneQuest, role-playing in Glorantha, is an all-new edition of one of the world's most influential and acclaimed fantasy role-playing games. First appearing almost 40 years ago, RuneQuest is as dynamic and vital as ever. This all-new deluxe edition introduces RuneQuest and its setting of Glorantha to new players everywhere. Try out a skill-based percentile system that balances experience-based progression with deadly combat. The core rules of RuneQuest are essential for players and game masters, as they contain all the rules for character creation, starting homelands, background history, professions, skills, starting runes and magic, and the cults and gods whose influence will define your character's activities. Further, the rules for character advancement are contained here for the times between adventures. RuneQuest is part of Chaosium's D100 basic role-playing system. It is intuitive and easy to play. Virtually all roles determining success or failure of a task are determined via the roll of percentile dice. RuneQuest has no character classes or alignments. Characters are defined by their culture, the gods they follow, and the runes that inspire them. Plus, I would have to say, by the actions they take. Nor does the RuneQuest system use levels. Instead, characters advance in skills and abilities by using them in the course of play. anyone can try to pick a lock, cast a spell, or decipher some ancient runic script. Combat in RuneQuest is exciting, immersive, visceral, and always potentially deadly. Players should be mindful even the lowliest trollkin can take out an experienced warrior with a lucky blow. Players will want this book to create their unique characters, diving into sorcery, picking their cult, or taking up shamanism to converse with mysterious spirits. Game masters need this book as it contains the core rules for the game, including task resolution, combat, and damage, as well as guidelines for special situations in combat, such as formations and chariots. These core rules are designed to be used in conjunction with the upcoming Glorantha Bestiary and the RuneQuest Game Master Pack and Screen. There are also some useful downloadables that are included with this PDF, including the RuneQuest Glorantha character sheet, character background worksheet, holdings family/allies sheets, and a sample from the Glorantha Bestiary. For game masters wanting to jump right in, the RuneQuest Quick Start contains a complete adventure suitable for new characters, and there's actually a preview of monsters and creatures from the Bestiary as well, which provide a few classic creatures. Those are all included as extras with this core book. You can score the 445-page tome. Yes, you heard me right, 445 pages from my friends over at Drive-Thru RPG for $27.95. I've got to say, I'm excited about the new RuneQuest. I got the boxed edition of RuneQuest back in the day. I would say we're probably talking, 1980 is probably when I got it. Yeah, I would say probably 1980 because I was not in high school yet. It was actually the second fantasy role-playing game that I had picked up, and I always thought RuneQuest was pretty cool for a few different reasons. Number one, because you didn't have that leveling mechanic as you would find in, say, Dungeons & Dragons, or these days, a lot of old-school Renaissance sorts of role-playing games. Didn't have that. Everything was experience-based, where with the percentile dice, it was Call of Cthulhu who really took a lot of the RuneQuest mechanics and just kind of ported them over to the Lovecraft mythos, at least with the first edition of Call of Cthulhu. So I always loved the fact that you had the percentile dice, you had all these different skills. Combat is very, very deadly in the game, and it is very true that even the most powerful hero can be taken down with a very lucky strike. So that is something else that I always dug. I want to say it was the first game I recall that actually had hit locations as well. So I am pumped to take a peek at this, and I have to admit, I did pick up the PDF. That's why I'm able to actually share some images from early in the book, within about the first 30 pages or so that I'm showing off. So I will be reviewing this in the future. It is almost 450 pages, folks, so it's not going to be like later this week or something like that. So just to point that out. But I will be reviewing RuneQuest role-playing in Glorantha. I believe I am pronouncing that correctly. All right, so another big RPG item took place over the weekend because Wizards of the Coast had the Stream of Many Eyes, and that ran from Friday through Sunday, and the latest adventure for Dungeons & Dragons was announced alongside loads of other things that were going on during the stream, including plenty of appearances by some of your favorite, like, celebrity streamers, cosplay. I think there was music. I think there were some musical interludes. So very, very cool. This ran all weekend long, and it got everybody pumped for the 2 adventures that are on the horizon. And I'm pretty pumped about this because, well, I'll talk about it after the news piece. Anyway, so let's get into the news piece because I've got some of the dope on Waterdeep Dragon Heist, as well as Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Anyway, welcome to Waterdeep. A fantastic treasure trove is yours for the taking in this adventure for the world's greatest role-playing game. Famed explorer Volothamp Gadarm. Oh, here we go. I'm going to be mispronouncing characters and stuff left and right. Get ready. Anyway, Volothamp needs you to complete a simple quest. I'm sure it's simple. Thus begins a mad romp through the wards of Waterdeep as you uncover a villainous plot involving some of the city's most influential figures. A grand urban caper awaits you. Pit your skill and bravado against villains the likes of which you've never faced before, and let the dragon hunt begin. Ha ha! But there's more adventure on the horizon as well, as this November, Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage will arrive. The greatest dungeon of them all. Explore the mega dungeon of Undermountain in this adventure for the world's greatest role-playing game. Hey, I just said that. In the city of Waterdeep rests a tavern called the Yawning Portal, named after the gaping pit in its common room. At the bottom of this crumbling shaft is a labyrinthine dungeon, shunned by all but the most daring adventurers. Known as the Undermountain, this dungeon is the domain of the mad wizard Hallister Blackcloak. Long has the mad mage dwelt in these forlorn depths, seeding his lair with monsters, traps, and mysteries. To what end is a constant source of speculation and concern. This adventure picks up where Waterdeep Dragon Heist leaves off, taking characters of 5th level or higher all the way to 20th level, should they explore the entirety of Hallister's home. 23 levels of Undermountain are detailed herein, along with the subterranean refuge of Skullport. Treasures and secrets abound, but tread with care. Waterdeep Dragon Heist will arrive on September 18th and carry an MSRP of $49.95. Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage follows on November 13th and will also carry an MSRP of $49.95. Very, very cool. So as I pointed out before, I like Dungeons and Dragons. I like 5th edition. You know, I know there are a lot of people out there who, you know, they're just fans of specific role-playing systems, and that's cool. I have absolutely no issue with that, because actually I'm a fan of a multitude of different RPG systems, and I never thought any one of them is perfect. But I do like what Wizards of the Coast did back in, gosh, has it been like I think it was 2014 now, is when the 5th edition came out, and I dig it. And I also like the fact that there isn't a flood of material that comes out, although I would like to see Wizards of the Coast maybe release things a little more each year, because usually there's just maybe a couple big releases, maybe 3. So one thing I do like to see is, okay, so it seems like this Dragon Heist is almost going to be kind of, I'm getting like a feeling, just a vibe, that it's sort of like an Ocean's 11 sort of adventure. I don't know. I could be way off base, but that's sort of kind of how I'm getting a vibe for it. And then the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, one thing I'm pretty thrilled to see is it's actually going to take characters up to level 20. I almost said 30 for some reason. Up to level 20, which we don't see that too often in the adventures that come out for Dungeons and Dragons. It's usually kind of 1st to 10th, maybe 1st to 15th. I want to say Princes of the Apocalypse, I think that went up to the 15th level. So it's cool to see a new adventure series coming out, which will take characters up to the max, up to level 20. So I will be pretty excited to see this. Plus, I am going to start running a Fantasy Grounds campaign for D&D. We're going to do a little Call of Cthulhu to kind of show off Fantasy Grounds with C of C, as we like to always call it. But then we're going to actually move into a D&D campaign because all of, well, I don't want to say all of the gang involved. Most of the gang involved are looking towards, they want to do fantasy as opposed to horror. So, and I'm cool with that too because a lot of these kids are, 16, 17 years old, and I don't want somebody's parents, contacting my brother or my sister-in-law saying, "Hey, what the hell's going on?" Because there are some of the kids, some of the friends of Cameron's who are going to be part of the Fantasy Grounds campaign that I'm going to do. So, and I am going to record it, and I am going to share that on the YouTube channel. They're not going to be episodes of the Daily Dope, obviously enough, but I will kind of share it because I think it'll be fun. Plus, I have noticed that many of the game masters, dungeon masters that I've seen out there, God, they're horrible. They're terrible. It's sort of like, my gosh, how you're uploading that video? It's terrible. Anyway, so, anywho, I wanted to say, sorry, I'm a little discombobulated today, because running around a little bit earlier. I know there are some folks out there who thought maybe had another health issue, so that's why there weren't shows Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday last week. No, I'm okay. I'm doing all right. I'm hanging in there. Still have not figured out when they're going to put the other stent in the old ticker here, but hanging in, doing all right. I'm doing pretty good. I feel pretty good. So yes, there were simply no shows because of me having to babysit, which really, I mean, it wasn't all that much anyway to the babysitting. But I do want to mention Free RPG Day is coming up. It's on June 16th, which I will actually be at Origins Game Fair covering that on the 16th. On the 16th. Psh. Anyway, so I'll be at Origins Game Fair, so I'm not really going to be able to partake in Free RPG Day. There will probably, I would take a guess, there's probably going to be a Free RPG Day booth at Origins. I'm not positive. I haven't really looked. But on every show up until then, so we've got about 7, because next week is Origins Game Fair. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there will not be a show because I will be in Columbus. Well, I'll be there Thursday. Elliot Miller and I, Elliot, my best friend, if you watch the show, you know all about Elliot over at voiceofe.com. He and I usually don't go to the Wednesday of Origins simply because the exhibit hall's not set up. Well, it's set up. It's not open to the public yet. So we usually get there first thing Thursday morning. So we leave Wednesday night or wee hours the morning on Thursday to get out there. But I believe we're leaving Wednesday night. Anyway, back to Free RPG Day, since I'm just kind of rambling on. I want to share a product on each show that you can look forward to trying to get your hands on, as far as if you go to your local game store and they're taking part in Free RPG Day. So the first item that I want to show off, talk about a little bit, is for Pathfinder, because Pathfinder has always done, well, for the last, I think this will be the 5th year that they do a free adventure, and it's goblin related. The players play goblins. And of course, this year it's We Be Super Goblins. And you may notice that the S has been replaced by a 5. But here's the dope from Paizo Inc. We got it in the bag. The Bird Cruncher Goblin Tribe has risen to remarkable heights under the leadership of its 4 goblin hero chiefs. Retta Big Bad, the fighter, Chuffy Lickwound, the rogue, Poog, the cleric of Zarungle, and Mogmurch, the alchemist. But these legendary goblins have outgrown their tiny fiefdom, and they want to explore beyond the same boring corner of Varisia they've known all their lives. Luckily for them, their minions have brought them something new and interesting to help cure their relentless boredom. A mysterious magic bag offers more adventure than even the Goblin chieftains originally realized. After an evening of drunken revelry, the goblins awaken to discover the most precious member of the tribe, the pig Squealy Nord, has gone missing. Yes, the most important member of the tribe is the pig. Both Nord and a trio of precocious goblin warriors vanished during the night, and the only clue to their whereabouts is a trail of footprints leading into the magic bag. The Bird Cruncher chieftains must venture inside the mysterious bag, from which few things have returned. How do you know? Did the bag tell you that? If they're to have any hope of seeing their beloved pig again. Don't goblins eat pigs? Could have swore they ate pigs. At least I thought the Pathfinder goblins do. Anywho, Weeby Super Goblins is an adventure for 4 6th level goblin characters written for the award-winning Pathfinder role-playing game. The adventure takes place in both the land of Varizia. I'm taking a guess that that's the pronunciation. Drew says, I think they mostly eat dogs. I thought the goblins in Pathfinder hate dogs, and they're afraid of them, if I remember correct. Not to say that they don't eat them. I'm not saying that the goblins don't eat dogs in Pathfinder, but I thought horses and dogs they hate because they're afraid of them. Because dogs can smell them and sense them, and horses tend to kick them in the head. So, anyway, Weeby Super Goblins takes place in both the land of Varizia and a bizarre demi-plane within the Pathfinder campaign setting, and it serves as a sequel to the modules Weeby Goblins, Weeby Goblins 2, Weeby Goblins Free, and Weeby 4 Goblins, Paizo's popular series of free RPG Day adventures. This special 16-page Pathfinder module was created for this year's free RPG Day. The print edition will be available for sale, and a free download will be available on Paizo.com beginning July 1st. So if you don't have an opportunity to snag this at Free RPG Day, you will be able to get the PDF on July 1st, absolutely free. Do keep in mind, due to the special nature of this product, it is not part of the Pathfinder module subscription. Also want to mention that Paizo is a platinum sponsor of Free RPG Day, so there should be 15 copies of Weeby Super Goblins in each promotional box that your participating friendly local game store will receive. Of course, keep in mind, it all depends on how many boxes your local gaming store might get if they are actually participating in Free RPG Day. Most of them do, but many of them do only get one box, because even though it's free RPGs to you, it is not free RPGs for your gaming store. Your gaming store actually has to purchase that box. And there is some really cool looking stuff in that is going to be available for Free RPG Day, and that's why I am going to feature one item each day up until my last show before I go to Origins. So there you have it. Keep your eyes open for that. That will be one of the easier items to get, because there will be 15 in each promotional box. And of course, if you're a fan of Pathfinder, by all means, you definitely want to snag that. So Drew says, someone likes goblins? I got a kick out of the goblins in Pathfinder. In fact, okay, so little side note here. So I had started running a fantasy campaign, which was just my own homebrew kind of really rules light sort of RPG campaign for Cameron and Elliot and some of the gang, some of Cameron's friends from high school. And I was actually running Rise of the Rune Lords, which is funny. So I take this Pathfinder campaign and I pretty much tweak it over to kind of a Fate-ish sort of setting. You know, just real simplified. Not to say that Fate is simple. Fate's a cool RPG system, especially for people who don't want super crunchy rules. So of course, I'm sure I'm not spoiling this for anybody because this campaign is like years and years old. But the first real, you know, encounter is with the player characters and these goblins at this festival. I want to say it was a Swallowtail festival. And I just played these goblins up to the hilt as just, you know, yeah, I don't want to, cause I mean, I was actually doing little goblin voice, yeah, goblin voices, like that. Longshanks. And, yeah, it was just a blast. And I mean, everybody around the table was just laughing. And I mean, they were like, whoa, you know, because of course, you know, they're thinking, oh yeah, these guys are just gonna be little pushovers. But here they were like first level characters. And, they were all orphans except for Elliot's. Except for Elliot's character, who was an elf ranger. Anyway, but because I'm going to do the fantasy grounds with D&D, I'm not going to actually be running that anymore. Thing is, it was just super tough to get everybody together. That's one of the problems with myself personally now, trying to run role-playing games is you as the game masters, DM, whatever you want to consider it, the amount of time that you actually put in to prepare and get everything ready, and then you're like, you know, you're all pumped and you kind of, you know, the way I usually kind of game plan how things might go, as far as, you know, because usually I know my players, not necessarily this group now, but back in the day when I was running Call of Cthulhu all the time, I kind of knew how they operated, so I could kind of game plan some stuff. So you go through all that and you're all set up and you play your first session and everybody has a blast, and then it's like, hey, they're all like, oh, when are we gonna play again? And you're like, oh, well, you know, whenever you want, you know, next week, couple weeks, whatever, blah blah. And then it never fails, at least for myself, I can't get everybody who was in that session together on the same day. So it's kind of like, so that's one of the reasons why the kind folks at Fantasy Grounds, I'd reached out to them, and Doug, who is the co-owner of Fantasy Grounds, was like, yeah, gave me the what is it, legendary license? It's like the big or ultimate license, something like that. So very cool. So I have been playing around with that. I have been spending a lot of time messing around with that, kind of trying to get a feel for it. In fact, Drew Barbier asked, hey, how was your weekend? I had a good weekend. I played a lot of games when I was over keeping an eye on my niece and nephew, but not like new stuff. So I played Memoir 44 a few times with Cameron over the 3 days. Played Hero Realms, played a couple of games of Thunderstone Quest, because he really likes Thunderstone Quest. A little bit of Lovecraft Letter. He had a couple of friends come over, so we played a little Lovecraft Letter. But nothing, you know, really new. So, so that's what I did for those 3 days. And, you know, we watched some movies. He had never seen Conan the Barbarian. He had never seen Excalibur. So we were watching those. I'm always introducing him to stuff that, you know, books, movies, comics, things like that he would never have exposure to without me floating around. And then over the weekend, just kind of followed the Cubs, watched my beloved Cubs, and was kind of playing around with Fantasy Grounds. So pretty cool. Pretty much looking forward to that. Yeah, Memoir 44, Drew, is being a war gamer. To me, it's way too basic for me to really love it. I like it. I think it's cool. And Cameron's at the age where, like, the big, massive, like, GMT epics and things like that, I can't see getting him into that. But, yeah, Memoir 44, you crank through a game real quick. So I do like it. It's just, you know, it's not one that I want to pull off my shelf and play all the time. But, yeah, it is a very easy intro game to get people into. All right, so outside of that, this week, I don't know what's cooking. I really don't know what I've got cooking this week. Might do some RPG reviews. I'm kind of bummed out because GMT had their latest shipment for games, which Fort Sumter and Cataclysm are part of, that I was super looking forward to checking out because GMT always sends me just about everything that comes out. I have not seen a package from GMT, so I'm kind of bummed. I'm wondering if maybe they didn't send it out to me this time, which I'd be like, no, not those. I mean, I was really looking forward to those two games because they're supposed to, especially Fort Sumter, it's supposed to be very, very easy to get into, and it's a Mark Herman designed game, so pretty cool. All right, so anyway, so today I'm going to review, this is going to be a little different. So I'm reviewing a gaming chair, right? So my butt is parked in this gaming chair right now. And it is from eWin Racing, which is out of Columbus, Ohio. Interestingly enough, I will be in Columbus, Ohio next week, right? So anyway, the fine folks over at eWin had contacted me about 3 weeks ago asking if I would be interested in doing a review for one of their gaming chairs. And it's kind of funny because I thought, well, okay, so I almost never do reviews for video games. I mean, gaming chairs are really, this was my thinking, right? I was thinking, gaming chairs are really more for people, playing video games and things like that. And the more I thought about it was like, well, if you think about it, those of us who are into tabletop gaming, we spend a lot of time sitting around a table in a chair too. So maybe I should take a peek at this gaming chair. So, of course, I emailed back and said, yeah, sure, I'd be more than happy to check it out and give you an honest review of one of your gaming chairs, because they've got a few different models that are available depending on price. And I have to say that, a lot of people out there, a lot of video gamers especially, they are really into gaming chairs. And I know I've gone to the Fry's Electronics to pick up stuff for my computer from time to time, and they got a big selection of gaming chairs. But I did not realize that they are as popular and as big as they actually currently are. So, pretty wild. So anyway, this chair that I received, and I'm going to actually move off and show some slides so you can get a much better look at this chair. This is the exact model that I've got. And it is available. It carries an MSRP of $399. I will mention that I do have a promo code that you can use to get 10% off as well as free shipping. So how come we are not seeing more images popping past? Let me fix this real quick. Come on, you. Whatever. It just shows the side. It's just basically the side views and things like that. So, Memoir's been one I can get them to play. They're mostly into Magic. Don't want to learn war games. Magic the Gathering, I believe Drew's probably talking about. I like Magic the Gathering. If you have not, check out Hero Realms. A lot of it's. I really dug it. Elliot, we played that. I introduced that to him I think that was 2 weeks ago when I hung out at Elliot's house. I brought that with. He really liked it. Cameron really digs it. And it kind of scratches the Magic itch without having to get into real heavy, Magic. Into Magic the Gathering without, with all the timing rules and interrupts and stuff like that. But pretty cool game. Anyway, yeah, I did a review of that not too long ago. Which, of course, I say it's not too long ago. It's probably like a month and a half ago. So anyway, as I was saying, so I said, yeah, sure, I will, do a review for the chair. So they send me their Flash series. So as I mentioned, the Flash series does carry an MSRP of $399. A few things that I want to point out about the chair is it weighs over 50 pounds. The chair itself is over 50 pounds. The actual box that got shipped to me clocked in, according to the to the tracking info, clocked in at like 58 pounds. So it's important to keep in mind that this is not just some like office chair, right? That you would go and buy at Walmart along those lines, right? Because this has a steel frame as well as cold molded memory foam, which I guess is very important that it's cold molded memory foam because it's not cut memory foam, I should say. And I guess that is an important thing as far as the chair itself, the way the design works. I guess being cold molded is a much more expensive process, and it will lead to a much longer lasting chair. So the one I've got, and I'm going to get out of the chair so I can show it off a little bit more. The one I've got is just the standard edition, and it has, whoops, I'm going to push these up. I got to point out that space is kind of at a premium around here, so I don't have a lot of wiggle room, basically. So it is super comfy. I will tell you that right off the bat. But it's got a lot of different ways that you can kind of adjust the chair. So as far as the armrests, you can adjust the height of the armrests, high or low, and then you can also adjust where these armrests actually slide up. So you can actually slide them forward, slide them back, and you can actually tilt the armrests out as well. So of course, as with most chairs, you can adjust the height of the chair, and you just simply, big glob of cat hair on one of the casters there. Here, let me hop up. So of course, you can adjust the height of the chair. Now, I have it adjusted to the lowest it'll go. And I have to admit that this chair, for me, just sits a little bit higher than I prefer. But that's just me. That's not, most people should be fine. But, of course, you're able to adjust the height. You're able to adjust the back angle. It does come with this like neck pillow, back kind of sort of like a neck pillow there, as well as, take a peek down there, as well as a lumbar support pillow as well. So let me kind of just turn this around a little bit. I tend to keep the armrests a bit lower than I normally would because I have to kind of, when I'm showing off games and that, I do need to turn the chair so the armrests have to fit under the other table. So, really nice fabric. One thing that I think is pretty cool too, kind of show these armrests a little bit. As I mentioned, you can adjust back and forth, up or down, as well as you can angle these out if you want. You can angle them out a little bit. So I thought that's cool. So there's actually kind of like 4D on the armrests. And the armrest, actually, it's not a solid plastic. It actually has a bit of padding to it. Now, it's not super soft. It's not, but it's not hard plastic. So I thought that is very cool as well. So it's pretty easy to put together. So let's fix this as I sit back down and start talking. It was pretty easy to put together. The instructions, it's just pretty much visual. It took me a minute to kind of click on some of the things. I don't want to say it. The instructions were like obtuse or anything like that. It just took me a few minutes to kind of realize, oh, okay, so that's what they're showing. Oh, that's where this goes. Especially, let's see if I can show it here. There's like a side piece. Sorry, it's down below. there's like a side cover on each side where the back of the chair meets the seat of the chair. And I had a hard time figuring out, okay, so how does this thing go on? Because looking at the instructions, I did not figure it out right away how to do that. But a little trial and error, finally got it figured out. So it was more probably, you know what? Let me drop these armrests back down because I'm kind of hitting the side of the table here. Don't want to damage my beautiful Flash series chair from E111 Racing. But the other thing I want to point out is because the chair is 50 pounds, when you're putting it together, you should probably have somebody else there, because the way that the instructions show you to put the chair together is one of the last things you're going to do is you're going to actually put the chair onto the base, onto the piston, which leads into the six. It's got like 6 prongs with wheels on the bottom of it. So you'll have that assembled, and then you actually take the chair, which is the heaviest part. So you're looking at it's probably like 45 pounds, and placing that onto the piston. And it can be a little difficult if you're doing it by yourself, because that's what I did. trying to eyeball where is that piston sticking up so I can put the chair on top of it. So just to point that out. Now, there are a couple other things that I do want to point out. As I mentioned, the chair seems, and this is just for me, right? The chair feels like it's a little bit higher than I would like. I would have liked to have been able to bring it down just a touch more, but that's okay. I mean, I don't have a huge issue with it. Plus, I'm not one of these people who sits in a chair like with it like way back. I don't tilt my chair way back. You know, like, oh yeah, I'm just kicking it, relaxing. Yeah. No, I like to have my chair up pretty much. No, that's a little more. There we go. Up pretty straight, not 90 degrees, but pretty straight up. So I feel a little higher than I would like to be, which is okay. Now the other thing is that now I'm 6'1", and when the folks over at E111 Racing reached out to me, they asked, you know, what was my weight, what was my height, and I told them, and they said, oh, okay. So they sent me the regular model. Now there's an extra large, which I'm assuming is probably just the width of the chair, as opposed to the way the chair is set up. But as you can kind of see, this pillow back here, I believe the pillow is supposed to sit like this, right? I think that's how it's supposed to be. I believe the pillow is supposed to kind of be behind your neck, like this. But this is how the pillow sits. And of course, you know, I don't know. It's not like, I think part of it is because just my physical build, I tend to have kind of like a longer torso. Not like I look weird or anything like that, but I'm more torso as opposed to having like really long legs. Being not like 6'1" is all that tall anymore. But I think that might be part of the reason. Of course, you can take this pillow off. You can also take the lumbar support pillow off as well. But really nice. And of course, once again, we're talking memory foam, so really comfy. This is a super comfortable chair. I have to admit, I could easily see kicking it in this chair for hours on end, as far as being in front of your, being in front of your TV or computer or sitting at a gaming table. It is really nice. Because of its weight, though, I should point out that if you're going to be utilizing it in a room with carpeting, I would think you're going to want to put down like a runner or one of those like plastic protectors, like rug protectors that you would find in offices and things like that, because the weight of the chair, as well as of course your weight on the chair, You could really mess up carpeting. And of course, if you're not owning your home and you rent, you don't want to be on the hook to pay for new carpeting. That's for certain. But this is a really, really nice chair. I have enjoyed using the chair. I am looking forward to kicking back in this and running sessions of Fantasy Grounds for a few hours at a pop. Very, very comfortable. And of course, I can easily take this pillow off here if I wanted to. I can take the lumbar pillow off as well. But I like the pillow here, the lumbar support pillow. I know some people don't dig that. Some people don't like it because it is kind of an unusual sensation having that, because most people don't use any sort of lumbar support. But yeah, I definitely dig this. So, in summary, if you are looking for a gaming chair, regardless if you're going to be using it with your computer or your console games, or as there are quite a few people out there who have spent hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on gaming tables, if you're looking for a chair that's going to be fantastic while sitting around your tabletop, you can really do almost no wrong with the Flash Series chair from eWin Racing. Like I said, my little things about it feeling a little too high up and the way the pillow is back here, I mean, those aren't really knocks on the chair itself. It's probably just my build more than anything else. I don't think like an XL, the extra large chair, would have addressed this, simply because I think the extra large is just simply wider, not necessarily taller. I don't think it's a longer chair as far as that goes, but really, really nice. And I know a lot of people out there, they spend $300, $400, $500 or more on gaming chairs, and this is really, really well done. Really nicely put together. It does include a 2-year warranty as well, so that's important too to keep in mind, because I know there are some manufacturers out there of various different gaming chairs that you don't get really any sort of warranty, no guarantee, anything like that. eWin Racing does give you that 2-year. Of course, don't pick it up and drop it down a flight of stairs, because ain't gonna be covered for that there, bucko. But anyway, do want to point out there is a promo code that you'll be able to utilize. It's on the gaminggang.com website, and if you go to ewinracing.com, purchase any of their gaming chairs, if you use the promotional code TGG, so it's the Gaming Gang initials, TGG10, you will save 10% on your purchase and receive free shipping to the US or Europe. I believe it's most of Europe that the shipping is free. And that free shipping is a big deal, because you figure, I told you, the box was 58 pounds. Shipping something for 58 pounds is not cheap. And I got this right away. I got this pretty quickly from the time they said they were sending it out to the time it arrived. I think was like 3 days. So very, very cool. I'm really digging this. I need to bring this back a little bit more. There we go. Here I said, yeah, I don't like to have the back too far back, and I'm sitting here like, I feel like I'm sitting a little too high up here. So once again, visit ewinracing.com, use the promo code TGG10, and save 10%. Jeez, what's going on with me? I can't get words out of my mouth. Use the promo code TGG10, save 10% on any of your purchase. I believe it's over $99. I think that is the rate. Maybe not. I don't know. And get free shipping as well. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I know I feel kind of weird because I'm giving a score of 1 to 10 to a chair, but it is a really, really sweet gaming chair. I give the Flash series from eWin Racing a 9 out of 10. As I mentioned, the only things are just for me. Maybe it's just my physiology. I just feel I'm sitting up a little bit too high, and this pillow back here, I think it's supposed to be more at your neck. I think. Anyway, really, really nicely put together, and I can tell this will hold up to a lot of wear and tear. All right, so that is it for today's show. Once again, if you're not watching The Daily Dope, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. I will be back tomorrow. Not sure what I'm covering just yet. I'll pull something out of my hat. I will try to get things set up for the rest of the week, see what I'm going to be covering, so you know in advance. Gosh, what's going on today? Just don't know. It's like English is my second language today. Anywho, I will be back tomorrow. So until then, enjoy your Monday. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Thanks again for watching The Daily Dope, presented by The Gaming Gang. If you like this episode, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. And if you dig the channel, please subscribe. If you'd like to check out our previous episode, click right here. And if you want to check out a somewhat randomly selected episode, give a click right down here. It'll be like opening a box of Cracker Jacks. You just don't know what you'll get. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'm Jeff McAleer.